So this is the editing part of the cloning exercise tutorial. So before we begin, you should have already shot the required footage for this tutorial with your group. If you haven't, I will include my footage in the bio of this video, and I'll also keep it on the Google Classroom. So once you've shot the footage, you're just going to want to use an adapter to get the footage off the SD card. Once you have it plugged in, it should show up on your computer like you can see on mine here, and it should be in the 100 Canon folder. Now I've already gone ahead and renamed my footage and the clips I'm going to use, and I would spend this time now to do that, and I would just call them something like Clone 1 or Clone Shot 1. Once you have that done, you are going to duplicate your footage and put it into your multimedia folder. And I would create a new folder and I would just call it Clone Effect. And then you're going to want to put those 4 clips in there. Cool. Once you have those files copied over, you can now eject the SD card. And we're going to jump into Premiere Pro. Cool, once we've got Premiere Pro open, we are going to come over to the left here and select New Project, and we're just going to call it Clone. Once we have created that project, we are going to import the footage. So you want to find your desktop folder on the left here. You want to go into that multimedia folder, and then you want to find the clone folder where you put all that footage from before. Tick the box and then select Import. You want to make sure you are in the editing window, and then close and move any panels. Once we're in here, we are just going to press Shift to select them all, select all the clips and drag them into our timeline like this. Once we have them in our timeline, we are going to remove the audio by pressing Command or Control L. And then we're going to delete the audio like this. Now with your clone footage, you need to think of what your best kind of shot is that you want to keep for the end. I'm going to use this first shot here. Think of your best shot and leave that on V1. And then get the other clips and put them on the video layers above. Just by clicking and dragging like you can see I'm doing here. Sorry, so once you have all your footage on each video layer, like that, you're then going to create what's called a mask layer on each layer of footage. So I'm going to start with this first layer here, and I'm going to start by cutting the unnecessary footage. So I'm just going to keep the bulk of the footage here, but I'm going to cut out this start bit where I walk into frame. So to do that, you can drag it from the end by hovering over the end of the clip and dragging this part here. Or you can just press C to create a cut and then press V to delete that part there. Once you have the part of the clip where you want the effect applied, this is when we are going to create our mask layer. And to do that, you just use this pen tool here. So left click to select it, and then you want to come to your shot, and then you want to draw around your subject and any parts of the video that you think they might use. So in this layer here, I pick up this book here, so it's important that I need to include it when I'm creating this selection. You'll see how just by doing that, we can see this effect starting to take place. We're then going to repeat this step for layer 2. So you're going to want to find the part of the clip where the subject is in frame. So to keep things simple, I'm just going to do the exact point as before. So C to cut, V to select and then delete. And then you're going to do the same thing again by having that layer there selected. So you go opacity, click this here, and then you draw around the subject. Again, I think I pick up this car. So I'm going to draw around the car. If you have any fine details, like I use this computer in a later shot, you just zoom into the shot, and then you get as close as you can to that object. Like you can see there, that worked fine. Then we're repeating the same step for the next clip. So again, cut the part where I walk into the shot, C to cut, V to delete, and then I create the mask on that layer. Cool. So this is sort of where we're at right now. Where you can see we have my clones slowly starting to work in place. Now this is the point of the video where you're going to want to watch through your footage, and then you're going to want to shuffle the clips so that the actions kind of get in time. So if I look at this clip I have here and this clip here, if they're talking, you want to have them facing each other so it creates that illusion and effect. So just spend some time now shuffling around your clips so you get them how you want. So they're now looking good. And then this is what I was saying before. To create this shot so that's a little bit more dynamic, I have left this bottom layer here unmasked so that the subject will walk into the frame as they come in, like you can see there. And that just creates a bit more diversity, variety in this shot, so it's not the same thing. Cool. Once you have that effect done, we are going to cut it at the end point. So play through, get to the point you want. I'm gonna have mine finish here. You're gonna press C, you're gonna hold Shift, and that will create a cut through all the layers. Then you're gonna press V, delete these layers here, and then you'll have the whole sequence like that. You're then gonna press O at the end, and I at the start. Have a little look, check that it's how you want it. And then we are gonna add some little transitions and export this thing. So the next thing you wanna do is create a new sequence. So you're gonna come up to the top, go File, go New, and then go Sequence. You want it to be the same resolution as your video footage. So I shot this in 4K, so I'm going to use this preset here, but if you shot it in full HD, you'll use one of these presets up here. Cool, and then you just want to drag that sequence from before into this. If you get this pop up, I would just go change sequence settings. Then you're going to want to play it. Find the point where the actual clip starts. That's where you can use the arrow keys. We're going to make a cut at that start point. Then we're going to go to the end of it, find where it finishes. Perfect. Then we're going to open up Effect Controls, and we're just going to add a cross dissolve to the start and the end of this effect. Now we'll just fade it in and fade it out. So the next thing I'd like you to do, I'm not going to show you in this video because it'll take up too much time, but I'd like you to add some audio to your clone effect. So do that now, and then come back to this video when you're ready to export it. So once you're ready to export, you just want to do an I at the start of the clip and an O at the end, and that will create an in and out point. Then you want to come up to export. We're going to call this clone, and then save it to your multimedia folder by clicking on that little blue line there. Find that multi-folder, find the clone effect folder from before, and then call it something like clone finished. Make sure you have source in to out selected here, and click export. Cool. Once that's exported, check that you are happy with it by opening up that clone folder, and then just have a little watch through. Cool. Thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope this is a fun little effect that you can use for videos in the future.